will grow there. And I think we can see that Josephus was right. Some would say he was wrong about many things, but he knew his agriculture. And we're heading up the left-hand side, the western side of the Sea of Galilee, towards the far end of the sea. And our first port of call will be Tabgha, the Church of the Multiplication, the church that commemorates Jesus' multiplication of the loaves and fishes.
Look at that. On the bus 30 seconds and he's already praying. There we have, we're off to the Church of the Multiplication of the Loaves and Fishes. That was a little glimpse of...
Just along here on the right you pass Sower's Bay. You remember that Jesus told the parable of the sower sitting in a boat with the crowds gathered around the shore. And there's a little arc-shaped circular bay just along this bit of the road that has been called Sower's Bay. Well, we'll see it later, I'm sure. The Church of the Multiplication.
Oh, there's the Christian symbol. Benedictine monastery, no less. They don't look very Benedictine to me. It's the kirk. Very pretty stones.
Well, welcome to Tabgha. Welcome to Tabgha. Tabgha is an abbreviated version of a Greek name, heptapego. You will know that hepta means 7, as in heptagon, and pega is a spring. So heptapegon is 7 springs, and over the course of the years it lost its first syllable and became tapegon Tabgha. 2 churches here, both of which seem to incarnate traditions that go back to at least the 4th century. It's impossible to be certain if this was where Jesus fed people in the wilderness, but it's certainly a place where that incident has been remembered for a long, long time. And Christian traditions were nurtured in Galilee over the first 3 centuries. What we've got here is a very recent church, a late 20th century church, built on the exact outline of a 5th century building, with a mosaic flooring on most of the inside is actually 5th century, except for near the altar, where there are 2 bits of exposed mosaic from a 4th century church. So this really is pretty ancient in terms of Christian tradition and Christian memory. You will find the mosaic at the altar of the loaves and fish that has become almost a trademark of what friends who go to the Holy Land bring home for you. And you'll find a rock under the altar that was certainly considered in the 5th century to be the table on which the Lord effected this marvellous distribution. So we remember here the bounty of Jesus.
What do those 3 symbols mean? Spiral wheel, cross, inside the Star of David. That could be, I don't know what that is. Interesting symbols. Here we go.
Are these the fish that you can take home?
No.
Coin and chips is you're going to take home.
That's a dragonfly. Look at the dragonflies. Pretty dragonflies. Pretty fish.
We use this size fish, you can see how we fed them all.
Olive tree. Bookstore there, not open. freshly taught. Swallow fruit. See the alabaster windows? Alabaster windows. Very typical. Here. Fruit heart. Very lovely planted. This is the outside, the other entrance. Interesting symbols are again. Flower inside the Star of David this time. Right, that was the Church of the Multiplication of the Loaves and the Fishes, run by the Benedictines. The next one we come to is the Church of Peter's Primacy, run by the Franciscans, who were given custody of the Holy Land back in somewhere in the 1300s, I think. After Saladin retook the land, they were allowed in to look after the then Catholic holy sites, and they still look after most of them. This is not the House of Peter, which is the very next big clip we go to, where they built a church over the top. This commemorates Brett says desperately trying to remember, but can't. Look at this.
Anyway, it's the Church of Peter's Primacy.
Water.